A screaming, profanity-laced phone call. That's what new reporting from CNN reveals about the growing MAGA civil war inside Donald Trump's party. It shouldn't be surprising. If Trump is openly attacking fellow Republicans in public, of course he's clashing with them behind closed doors as well. We're seeing it more each day. Republicans in the House, and even some in the Senate, trying to distance themselves as the midterms increasingly look like a bloodbath. They're breaking with him on policy, condemning his most unhinged moments, and in some cases directly criticizing his behavior. One of the clearest examples came after Trump's racist post targeting former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama. The backlash within Republican circles was stronger than many expected, and new reporting shows just how explosive the fallout really was. But before diving into that reporting, it's important to start with what Trump said yesterday. Still defensive, still spiraling, and still trying to justify the post that sparked the uproar.
You posted the video from your account that included the Obamas?
No, I haven't. That was a video on, as you know, voter fraud, and fairly long video, and they had a little piece and had to do with the Lion King. It's been very well, it's been shown all over the place long before that was posted. But that was a very strong, and I'm sure you saw it, a very strong piece on voter fraud, and the piece that you're talking about was all over the place many times, I believe for years. Yeah, please.
What a shock. Donald Trump doesn't think it was a big deal. He keeps deflecting by saying it was the Lion King and acting as if people are upset over copyright issues, like anyone is serving as a lawyer for the Walt Disney Company. That misses the point entirely. It wasn't the Lion King, it wasn't clever satire, and calling it just a meme doesn't erase how racist and offensive it was. It was crude, unnecessary, and revealing. And beyond that, it didn't even make sense. Why is he suddenly the king of the jungle? What jungle? The whole thing felt less like political messaging and more like a late-night social media rant. At this stage, Trump often comes across like someone posting impulsively because he can't effectively govern, struggling to control Congress, struggling to control himself, and lashing out at whoever becomes the target of the week. And as usual, Barack Obama continues to live rent-free in his head. But there was backlash, even within MAGA circles. Some Republicans expressed discomfort and frustration. Before getting to how Trump reportedly reacted behind the scenes, it's worth revisiting what that pushback looked like, particularly from Tim Scott.
Clip came at the end of a video that the president retruthed. It was one of many retruths that the president was putting out overnight. The video itself was not sort of this AI jungle depiction. It was a video propagating debunked claims that voting machines could have been infiltrated in the election. This clip of the Obamas sort of appeared very suddenly at the end of the video, and it shows the former president and the former first lady, their faces superimposed on animated apes. What the White House has said, and this is from Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, is that this was from an internet meme video depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from The Lion King. Although we should note that the video that the president posted did not depict any other Democrats and did not depict the president. It was cut from that original video and put at the end of this voting machine video.
I actually mocked Tim Scott's response in the moment. Not because it was wrong for him to criticize Donald Trump, but because of how naive it sounded. Saying, "I'm praying it's not true, I hope it's not true," makes no sense. Why wouldn't it be true? Of course Trump posted something racist. That's his brand. That's the foundation of his politics. Have people not been paying attention? Trump launched his political career by attacking Barack Obama, questioning his citizenship and his legitimacy as an American. And that pattern matters. The way the right targets Black Americans first is often the blueprint for how they expand repression against everyone else. Trump has gone after black journalists, tried to intimidate critics like Don Lemon, and repeatedly signaled that dissent should be punished or silenced. He once demanded Obama show his papers, and now he's pushing that same logic onto the entire country. So yes, it's worth paying attention to who Trump targets first, because history tells us where it leads. Even so, Trump did face some pushback from within MAGA over this incident. He reportedly didn't appreciate Scott's criticism, and notably, it wasn't just Scott. Another Republican senator also broke ranks, adding to Trump's growing frustration. Trump privately lashes out at GOP lawmakers over racist video blowback. Sources say hours after refusing to apologize for a racist video posted to his Truth Social account, Donald Trump hadn't let go. He spent last weekend complaining to allies about Republicans who had condemned the video depicting the Obamas as apes, questioning the lawmakers' loyalty and vowing consequences. Sources familiar with the comments told CNN the president railed against South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, the sole black Republican senator and chair of the Senate's GOP's campaign arm, throughout the weekend at Mar-a-Lago, arguing one of his top congressional allies was out of line to call his White House post racist. The sources said the president felt he could have handled that matter privately. A senior Trump administration official told CNN of Scott he was like, "We work together all the time." He didn't need to comment publicly. Trump had even stronger words, though, for Alabama Senator Katie Britt, one of the sources recalled, using expletives to denounce her in declaring that she was dead to him. So Donald Trump was reportedly furious, calling, lashing out, condemning Republicans, and telling them they were dead to him for not backing his racist post. That kind of meltdown is classic Trump, screaming, swearing, raging, and spiraling into one of his familiar tantrums. What's baffling is why any of these Republicans act surprised. Trump has intentionally filled his administration with some of the most racist and bigoted figures imaginable. And that reality was put on full display recently when one of those officials was absolutely dismantled by Chris Murphy in a Senate grilling that's well worth watching.
Mr. Carl, I think it's just heartbreaking that you have been nominated for this position and that you've reached a panel before the United States Senate. But I do want to give you a chance to go a little bit deeper in your explanations of your personal beliefs. They are directly relevant to your fitness to serve. You already have had some of your statements read to you, but I'd like you to respond to at least a few of them. One of the things you have said is that anti-white discrimination is the most pervasive and politically salient form of racism today. So do you continue to believe that anti-white discrimination is more salient than the discrimination faced today by blacks, Latinos, Muslims, or other American groups?
Well, Senator, thank you for that question, and thank you also for giving me an opportunity to speak at a little bit of length. I haven't necessarily had much opportunity to respond.
I'm going to have at least one more question for you, so I'll give you a minute or two to respond.
Yes. So thanks to the great work of my friend Harmeet Dillon as the Assistant Attorney General of Civil Rights, I actually think that we've done an incredible job in this administration of getting rid of certain policies that discriminate particularly against white Americans, but also in some cases Asian Americans.
Well, just maybe answer my question. Let's rewind. Because maybe you'll suggest that everything is fine now. Let's rewind a year ago. A year ago, were white Americans the most discriminated against group in the United States? You said it. So
yeah. Senator, no, certainly this is my belief. I'm not running away from that. I think that while, of course, all races in different contexts can be subject to really severe discrimination, that when we look at our legal structures, white Americans are often very disfavored in overt ways.
It's not just that this kind of racism and bigotry is morally repugnant. It's that it's intellectually hollow. The views themselves are discriminatory and harmful, and they have no place shaping public policy. But what's equally striking is how quickly these figures crumble when they're asked to defend their positions in serious settings like Senate hearings. The bravado often exists online or in friendly media spaces. When confronted with direct questioning, the arguments fall apart. If someone is going to advance extreme or exclusionary ideas, the least they could do is attempt to substantiate them. Yet time and again, there's no coherent evidence, no logical consistency, just slogans and resentment. It's difficult to claim cultural or intellectual superiority while being unable to articulate a defensible argument under scrutiny. That contrast is what makes these performances so revealing, and why they deserve strong, sustained criticism in the public square. Thanks for watching, and if you stuck around at the end, you can drop the blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.